The bustling studios of Good Morning America hummed with the usual pre-dawn energy on that crisp November morning in 2025, as the crew fine-tuned lights and cameras for another day of live broadcasting from the heart of Times Square. George Stephanopoulos, the seasoned anchor with his trademark sharp wit and unyielding journalistic probe, adjusted his tie in the green room mirror, preparing to welcome one of Hollywood's enduring icons, John Travolta. The charismatic star whose career spanned from Disco Fever and Saturday Night Fever to heartfelt family tales and Face Off, arrived with his signature megawatt smile, dressed in a tailored navy suit that echoed his Grease-era cool. He was there to promote his latest venture, a nostalgic docuseries on the golden age of American cinema, blending interviews with archival footage that promised to whisk viewers back to the celluloid dreams of the 70s and 80s. As the countdown echoed through the control room at 3, 2, only the theme music swelled, and George leaned into the camera with effortless charm. Good morning, America. Today, we've got a treat for film lovers everywhere. Joining us live is the one and only John Travolta, whose new project is lighting up screens across the nation. John, welcome back to GMA. Travolta's laugh boomed through the studio, warm and infectious, as he settled into the plush interview chair opposite George. George, it's always a pleasure. This city never sleeps, and neither do the stories from Hollywood's heyday. They keep us up at night, dreaming big. The audience, a mix of early risers and devoted fans clustered behind the glass, erupted in applause, their cheers a rhythmic underscore to this segment's lively kickoff. George nodded appreciatively, flipping through his notes with the precision of a man who's grilled presidents and pop stars alike. John, your career is a masterclass in reinvention from the dance floors of Brooklyn to the cockpits of jumbo jets. But tell us, what drew you to this docuseries now? Is it a love letter to the past, or a subtle nudge toward tomorrow's filmmakers? Travolta's eyes sparkled under the studio lights, his hands gesturing animatedly as he dove in. Oh, it's both, George. That era? Pure magic. We didn't have CGI wizardry, we had heart, sweat, and a whole lot of charisma. Think about it. Saturday Night Fever wasn't just a movie, it was a movement. Kids everywhere strapping on those white suits, believing they could boogie their way out of anything. And now, with streaming swallowing up the indie spirit, I wanted to remind folks, storytelling starts with soul, not algorithms. The conversation flowed like a well-rehearsed tango, George's questions probing just enough to keep the energy crackling without tipping into interrogation territory. Viewers at home, sipping their coffees over kitchen tables from coast to coast, tuned in for the nostalgia hit, unaware that beneath the glossy surface, tensions were simmering like a pot about to boil over. As commercial breaks loomed, Travolta shared anecdotes from the set of wild nights on location, improbable friendships forged in the edit by each tale laced with that Travolta twinkle that made audiences root for him, whether he was saving the world or just saving face. But as the segment progressed, George's gaze sharpened, hinting at the pivot that would soon shatter the morning's serene facade. With the docuseries plug wrapped in a neat bow of enthusiasm, George steered the ship toward deeper waters, his voice dropping a notch into that familiar timbre reserved for moments when the interview transcended promotion into revelation. John, you've always been open about the influences shaping your life via family, faith, the relentless pursuit of passion. Speaking of faith, your long-standing ties to Scientology have been a cornerstone, haven't they? How has that journey informed the way you approach these cinematic tributes to resilience? The question hung in the air like a smoke signal, innocent on the surface but loaded with the weight of decades of public scrutiny. Travolta's smile faltered for a split second, a flicker so brief it might have gone unnoticed by casual viewers, but George's trained eye caught it, filing it away like a bookmark in a tense chapter. Well, George, Travolta replied, leaning forward with measured poise, Scientology has been my anchor through the storms of divorces, doubts, the Hollywood hustle. It's about auditing your way to clarity, clearing out the noise so you can hear your true self. In the docuseries, you'll see echoes of that, directors like Coppola, pushing through personal chaos to birth masterpieces. It's universal, really a faith in something bigger than the spotlight. The studio audience shifted subtly, a murmur rippling through the crowd as if sensing the undercurrent. At home, Social media feeds began to buzz faintly. Hashtags like #Travolta GMA trending in nascent whispers. George pressed on, his follow-up slicing cleaner than a director's cut. Absolutely, and it's admirable how you've stayed committed amid controversy as to the church's practices, the celebrity endorsements that spark endless debate. Do you ever worry that tying your narrative to Scientology might overshadow the art you're celebrating here? Travolta's jaw tightened, his fingers drumming a silent rhythm on his knee, a telltale sign from years of red carpet poise cracking under pressure. George, let's be clear, my beliefs aren't a sideshow, they're the main event. They've given me tools to thrive when others fold. Overshadow? That's the media's game, not mine. I'm here talking films, not fueling tabloid fires. The exchange teetered on the edge of civility. George is not polite but his eyes unyielding, like a chess master contemplating his next gambit. As the camera pulled back for a wide shot, capturing the electric tension between the two men, the control room held its breath, the producers whispering into headsets, debating whether to cut to weather or let the raw authenticity play out. Travolta, ever the performer, masked his rising ire with a chuckle that didn't quite reach his eyes. Look, we've all got our paths. Mine's led to some wild dry pulp fiction, Hairspray, and I'm grateful. But let's not detour into dogma when we've got disco to dissect. Yet George's persistence was legendary, forged in the fires of political arenas, and he wasn't about to let the moment slip into fluff. The segment timer ticked mercilessly, the audience leaning in, transfixed by the subtle war of words unfolding in real time. A clash of titans where charisma met scrutiny head-on. The pivot came sharper than a plot twist in a Tarantino script. George's voice steady as he bridged back to the present with a question that struck at the heart of Hollywood's evolving soul. John, your docuseries shines a light on an industry that's changed dramatically. Diversity initiatives, #MeToo reckonings, the push for inclusive stories. As a veteran, how do you reconcile the good old days with today's calls for accountability? Were there blind spots back then that we'd handled differently now? Travolta paused, his expression shifting from guarded to genuinely contemplative, the studio lights casting dramatic shadows that amplified the gravity. Blind spots? Sure, Georgia, plenty. We were cowboys in a wild west of sets, improvising without the guardrails we have today. But progress isn't about erasing the past, it's about learning from it. My series honors the trailblazers while nodding to the work ahead. Take Olivia Newton-John. Our Grease magic was electric, but we'd amplify voices like hers even more fiercely now. Applause dotted the response, a bomb to the budding friction. But George, sensing an opening, leaned in closer, his tone laced with the empathy of a confidant masking the edge of an inquisitor. That's fair, and Olivia was a force. But let's talk specifics. The church's stance on mental health, for instance, dismissing psychiatry in favor of auditing, with stars like you championing it. Does that complicate conversations around vulnerability in an industry rife with them? The air thickened, the audience's murmurs swelling into a low hum. Cameras zooming subtly to capture every micro-expression on Travolta's face. His eyes narrowed, the warmth ebbing as he straightened in his seat, voice dropping to a controlled baritone. George, you're veering into territory that's been dissected more than a blockbuster autopsy. Scientology saves lives. Mine included by addressing the spirit, not just symptoms. Psychiatry, it's got its place, but for me, it's been a crutch that props up pain rather than uprooting it. Why drag this into a film chat? George's rebuttal was swift, delivered with the precision of a man who's navigated White House briefings. Because your platform reaches millions, John, fans look to you for inspiration, and blending faith with fame invites these dialogues. It's not dragging, it's relevant, especially post-pandemic, when mental health is front-page news. Travolta's hand clenched the armrest, knuckles whitening under the glare, his reply laced with the first sparks of eruption. Relevant, or ratings bait? I've shared my story on my terms of books, interviews, not ambush segments. This isn't This Week, it's morning TV. Let's stick to the scripts that built us both. The studio fell into a charged hush, the crew frozen mid-motion, as the two men stares locked, a battle of wills where Hollywood polish clashed against broadcast steel. Viewers flooded comment sections with popcorn emojis and gasps. the live feed capturing a moment poised to go viral, the line between promotion and provocation blurring into oblivion. What followed was a torrent, Travolta's composure fracturing like a glass under a heel, his voice rising in a crescendo that echoed off the studio walls and into living rooms nationwide. "You know what, George? I've sat here peddling dreams while you poke at my soul like it's sport. Enough. Scientology isn't your gotcha, it's my lifeline. Through Kelly's loss, through every script rejection that could have broken lesser men. You want accountability? Look in the mirror at the sound bites you've spun for decades." George's face remained a mask of professional calm, but his eyes flashed with the fire of a defender cornered. "John, this is dialogue, not attack. America tunes in for truth, not just trailers. If faith heals, celebrate idol, but transparency builds trust." The interruption was seismic. Travolta shot to his feet, microphone cord dangling like a serpent as he gestured wildly, his face flushed under the unforgiving lights. "Transparency? From the guy who grilled Clinton like a steak and now plays nice with celebs. Hypocrisy much? I'm erupting because this isn't journalism, it's a trap wrapped in a smile." The audience gasped collectively, a wave of shock rippling through the crowd, phones whipping out to capture the chaos as producers scrambled in the booth, fingers hovering over the emergency cut button, yet no one pulled the plug. This was gold, raw and unfiltered, the kind of TV that births legends and lawsuits in equal measure. Travolta paced the set's edge, words tumbling forth in a passionate soliloquy. "I came here for connection, to share joy from the silver screen, not to defend my divinity against your secular scalpel. Hollywood's full of skeletons, yours, mine, ours, but we evolve by lifting, not lacerating." George rose too, hands outstretched in placation, his voice cutting through the din with angry authority. "John, sit. We're better than this. Viewers deserve the full picture of your triumphs, your trials. No traps, just talk." But the damage was done. Travolta halted, chest heaving, pointing a finger that trembled with restrained fury. "Talk? This is monologue disguised as mutual. I've danced through infernos hotter than this studio glare, but today, I'm out. America, watch the docuseries. It's got heart you won't find in headlines." With that, he stormed toward the exit, pausing only to flash a defiant wave at the stunned crowd, the door slamming behind him like a final reel credit. The set dissolved into pandemonium, staff rushing to console George, who sank back into his chair, murmuring into his earpiece as the themed music awkwardly swelled to fill the void. Cut to commercial, but the internet exploded, clips circulating faster than wildfire, pundits parsing every syllable, the clash etching itself into the annals of daytime drama. In the immediate aftermath, the GMA control room buzzed like a beehive under siege, producers huddling in frantic clusters while meteorologists stood by, scripts clutched like shields against the unknown. George, ever the pro, smoothed his lapels and segued seamlessly into the next segmento, a light-hearted cooking demo with a celebrity chief, his smile returning as if the eruption were merely a spilled latte. "Folks, we'll circle back to that passionate exchange shortly, but first, let's whip up some fall favorites that'll warm your spirits." At home, the nation fragmented into camps, Travolta loyalists flooding X with #StandWithJohn, decrying the interview as ambush artistry, while media watchdogs praised George's tenacity as brave broadcasting. Clips proliferated across platforms, a TikTok splicing Travolta's exit with Pulp Fiction walk-offs, memes juxtaposing his finger point with iconic Travolta poses from decades past. ABC's switchboard lit up like a Christmas tree, calls pouring in from fans defending their idol's privacy to critics applauding the rare peek behind the celebrity veil. Backstage, Travolta retreated to a quiet green room, agent at his side, phone vibrating with messages from A-listers weighing in at Tom Cruise texting solidarity, Meryl Streep urging grace under fire. "John, you owned that room," his publicist assured, already drafting a statement that balanced vulnerability with valor, grateful for the platform, but personal faith isn't fodder for fleeting fame. By midday, the story dominated headline as a Variety dubbing it Travolta's tell-off, when stars snap back, while TMZ dissected every frame for tales of deeper discord. George, in a post-show huddle, reflected to colleagues, He brought fire, I brought questions. That's the dance. Ratings spiked 40%, GMA's highest in a quarter, proving controversy's currency in the attention economy. Scientology spokespeople issued measured responses, framing the flare-up as a testament to John's unwavering conviction, while detractors online unearthed old expose copyright s, reigniting debates long thought dormant. Travolta, cooling off in a midtown suite overlooking the Hudson, watched the frenzy unfold on a muted TV, a wry smile creeping in as he pondered his next move via a podcast perhaps, or a fiery op-ed reclaiming the narrative. The clash rippled outward, inspiring water-cooler symphonies from Burbank to Brooklyn, colleagues swapping theories on George's intent, therapists nodding at the mental health undercurrents, film buffs circling back to the docuseries with renewed curiosity. In this digital coliseum, one man's eruption became everyone's spectacle, a reminder that even icons bleed ink when pricked by the press's quill. As the sun dipped low over the skyline, casting golden hues on the Empire State, the day's drama coalesced into a cultural touchstone, dissected on evening panels from CNN to Colbert's couch. Pundits pored over the exchange like archaeologists at Adiga, psychologists attributing Travolta's blast to grief's lingering echo, media ethicists debating the ethics of live probing on feel-good fare. It's GMA, not 60 Minutes, one critic tweeted, amassing likes like lottery winnings, while defenders countered, truth doesn't clock out at 9 a.m. Travolta, emerging from seclusion for a sunset stroll through Central Park, fielded paparazzi flashes with a nod and a quip. Next time, I'll bring my dancing shoes for the debate, diffusing tension with that irrepressible Travolta flair. The docuseries, ironically, surged in streams overnight, viewers drawn by the meta layer of a star's unscripted stand, its themes of resilience mirroring the man's morning meltdown. George, wrapping his broadcast day with co-anchor Robin Roberts, shared a candid aside on air. John's passion is palpable. We all have lines we won't cross, or should we? The question lingered, sparking think pieces on celebrity sanctity versus public rights to know. From The Atlantic's lofty toes to BuzzFeed's bite-sized breakdowns, Hollywood insiders whispered of ripple effects of producers greenlighting faith-forward projects, publicists prepping clients for softball-proof segments, and while Scientology's doors swung wider for curious newcomers, the church's app downloads spiking 25%. Fans, in forums from Reddit to red carpets, rallied with fan art of Travolta as a fiery Vincent Vega, captions reading "Say what again?" To George's queries, by week's end, reconciliation rumors swirled. A joint appearance, a private olive branch? But both camps played coy, letting the echo chamber hum. For Travolta, the eruption proved cathartic, a purge of pent-up prose that fortified his fortress. For George, a badge of bold inquiry in an era of sanitized spots. America, ever the voyeur, moved on to the next headline, but the clash lingered like a lingering chord in a showstopper, proof that under the glamour and gravitas, we're all just souls scripting our survival. In the end, it wasn't about winner or wound, it was about the roar of authenticity in a filtered world, reminding us that even morning shows can dawn with thunder. The fallout extended far beyond the studio walls, infiltrating late-night monologues and podcast circuits where hosts replayed the clip on loop, dissecting Travolta's finger point like a Zapruder film of daytime television. Jimmy Fallon opened his Tonight Show with a mock dance-off between cardboard cutouts of Travolta and Stephanopoulos, complete with disco lights and a fog machine that spelled eruption and swirling smoke, drawing roars from the studio audience and millions more online. Meanwhile, on Joe Rogan's sprawling platform, the host invited a former Scientology executive to unpack the church's media playbook, arguing that Travolta's outburst was less spontaneous than a calculated flex of loyalty and audition for higher echelons within the organization. Clips ricocheted across TikTok, stitched with Gen Z commentary. Bro said a auditing clears noise while creating the loudest moment of 2025. Hashtags #Macklash and #Travolta Tantrum trended globally, amassing 1.2 billion views in 48 hours, each share peeling back another layer of the morning's mayhem. ABC's legal team convened emergency sessions, poring over release forms and defamation thresholds, While Travolta's crisis PR squad flooded sympathetic outlets with childhood photos of John and dance classic captioned "From Brooklyn Boy to Battlefield" to humanize the hurricane, ratings data rolled in like jackpot numbers. GMA's demo share jumped 52% among 1834s, the coveted cohort that usually scrolls past sunrise slots. Advertisers scrambled to lock remnant spots, paying triple the rate cards for proximity to the chaos. In living rooms from Des Moines to Dubai, families paused breakfast debate as kids mimicking Travolta's pacing, parents weighing privacy versus public figurehood. The docuseries, originally projected for modest streaming numbers, cracked Netflix's top 10 in 14 countries. Its algorithm thumbnail now Travolta mid-gesture, sweat glistening under studio LEDs. Hollywood agents cold-called mid-tier talent with a new pitch. Want heat? Book GMA and pray for friction. The Clash birthed a cottage industry of merchandise from "I Survived the Eruption" mugs to t-shirts quoting "This isn't this week, it's morning TV." Even Broadway-buzzed producers floated a jukebox musical titled "Fever Pitch," weaving Grease hits with spoken-word recreations of the interview. Through it all, Travolta remained radio silent on socials, letting the vacuum fuel speculation. Was he scripting a tell-all, prepping a defamation suit, or simply rehearsing his next entrance? Because in showbiz, every exit is a setup for a sequel. By midweek, the narrative fractured into parallel universes. On conservative talk radio, hosts crowned Travolta a warrior against woke interrogations, replaying his secular scalpel line as a rallying cry for faith under siege. Progressive podcasts countered, framing Stephanopoulos as a guardian of accountability, his questions a necessary scalpel excising celebrity exceptionalism. A viral deepfake surfaced to Travolta's head on Thanos's body, snapping away George's microphonia, racking up 40 million loops before platforms yanked it for terms of service violations. Academic panels materialized overnight. News Media Studies Department hosted Morning Meltdown, When Breakfast Becomes Battleground, dissecting power dynamics in live television. Students live-tweeted footnotes on Irving Goffman's presentation of Self, while guest lecturers cited Walter Cronkite's measured gravitas as the road not taken. Meanwhile, Scientology's celebrity wing activated its silent machinery of private jets ferrying A-listers to the flag building in Clearwater for solidarity summits. Sources whispered. Paparazzi staked out Travolta's Ocala ranch, drones buzzing like mechanical mosquitoes, capturing grainy footage of the star horseback riding at dawn. Stetson low, no comment offered. GMA countered with damage control gold, a teaser for Friday's show promising John Travolta. The exclusive follow-up, though insiders confirmed no booking existed, a pure bait to keep the blaze roaring. Robin Roberts, in a solo segment, read viewer 100 viewer emails on air, voices trembling with empathy for both men, one calling it the realest TV since moon landings. The merch machine accelerated. Etsy shops sold 5,000 Eruption edition vinyls of the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, each sleeve autographed by impersonators claiming proximity to the set. Wall Street took notice. ABC's parent stock ticked up 3.7%, analysts citing event television premium. Travolta's team leaked a single Instagram story, a black and white still of him reviewing dailies on the docuseries set, caption "Back to the work that matters." The subtlety detonated. Likes surpassed 2 million in an hour, comments a digital coliseum of devotion and debate. Somewhere in the ether, Olivia Newton-John's estate posted a throwback Grease Polaroid with the line "Tell me about it, stud," winking at the whirlwind. The saga morphed from scandal to syllabus, proof that in 2025, 15 minutes of fury could birth 15 semesters of study.